This is a bait cup that I am using, sorry about my finger there, I am using as a cocoon storage area. And why I'm doing this is all of these bins are going to be emptied into our garden. And I'm going to be harvesting vermicompost and baiting out the worms, but I know I will miss a lot of cocoons. So when I see cocoons, I've been adding them to what is a bait cup. It is something that you can buy. It's got a lid that looks like this with air holes in it, and it's a long cup. So it's not really a great worm farm because it doesn't have great surface area, but it does make for a great cocoon nursery. I added like a jewelry bag netting under the lid just to make sure it doesn't get infested with anything, because I do keep it rather on the damp side. And when I was fluffing Gilligan and pulling some worms out of it, I found just a few cocoons, not many. I wasn't really specifically looking for cocoons, but I did find a few. I know it's going to be hard to focus, and there's a bit of castings there to obscure them, but they're in there. So I'm going to add them to my little baby bin, but I thought in the meantime, before I do that, I would empty it out and just show you what is in here. So I've got this tray here. I keep it moist and I keep it warm. And so as the worms in here grow up, I will add them to an established system, because even if I'm going to be using the vermicompost from that system in my garden, the worms will be visible and probably be sifted out. And some of them are growing up, but there's a lot of cocoons still in here. And so that's what I'm doing with my baby bin, is I'm waiting until they're big enough to go into one of my other systems. And then at that point, they will, stay as in a worm farm rather than be put out into the garden. Now, it sounds like I don't want worms in my garden, which isn't the case at all. I know I'm going to be putting hundreds of cocoons and hundreds of worms into my garden, so I don't feel I need to add more. And so there are cocoons still in here, and there are baby worms in here. And I'm just keeping them in here, giving them like a tablespoon of food at a time, just to keep them happy and growing. And probably in another week or so, I will start pulling the big worms out, and I will add them to an established system so that they can help complete the system for harvest. Because all of my systems are coming up close to harvest now, right in time for gardening season. Anyway, so I will just add these new cocoons and a few castings, as it looks like, from Gilligan. So any more cocoons stuck to there? No, just a little bit of castings. I like adding the castings because guess what? The castings add microbes. So when the worms do emerge, there will be microbes in there. So I probably pulled out about 10 cocoons today. So added it to this baby bin. I've probably in total, my guess would be 50 or 60 cocoons that have gone into here. As you can see, a lot of them have hatched. I pulled out, I'm thinking about 8 large worms. I think the cocoons hatched in like 2 batches, like the like 8 large worms were, they looked like they were maturing before I started getting any hint of any other cocoons hatching. So there must have been a few cocoons hatch right away in this baby bin. So I pulled them out, and now we've had kind of an explosion. And what I did is I warmed up this nursery. I put it under my grow light or on a heated floor. There's a cocoon. Lots of them. And as soon as I warmed up the cocoon nursery, the cocoons started hatching. So I really think that, I had probably had 2 or 3 cocoons hatch. They must have been very close to hatching, and even though I didn't have them on extra heat, they hatched anyway. And that's where the bigger worms that I pulled out came from. Well, I let them grow up to be bigger worms. They weren't big when they hatched, of course. And then the other worms, the other cocoons, have taken a long time, probably 2 months actually. And now they are starting to really pick up speed and hatch all the time. And there's probably dozens of babies in here already. Anyway, so that's a check-in update on the little cocoon nursery. Bye, everyone. Take care.